Hi, I'm Charles Max Wood from devchat.tv, and this is a campaign to put together a website that will manage all of the podcasts for devchat.tv. So let me explain what devchat.tv is. Currently, we have 4 podcasts that we put out every week that touch on different subjects. You can see here we have Ruby Rogues, JavaScript Jabber, iFreaks, which is focused on iOS development, and the Freelancer Show, which is focused on freelancing and business. These shows are basically group discussions about different topics related to code, business, or the community. And what we're really trying to do is have these conversations related to code that people don't always have the opportunity to have. We're also trying to talk about issues that strengthen the community. We've talked about diversity, among other things, and really had some positive experiences talking about these issues that are important to programmers that aren't necessarily related to code. We want to share some high-profile programmers' experience and expertise with everyone and just have some fun. Some of the high-profile folks that we've had on the show, including our hosts, are James Edward Gray and Josh Susser. James Edward Gray is Ruby, kind of a Ruby star. So is Josh. He's contributed a lot of things to Ruby on Rails. Avdi Grimm does Ruby Tapas, which is a weekly video series, and he is the author of 3 or 4 independently released books related to Ruby. Tim Caswell from howtonode.com is on the JavaScript Jabber Show. Eric Davis and Ash Dryden are on the Freelancer Show. Ben Sherman from nsscreencast.com and Pete Hodgson, who is a thought worker and wrote the Frank testing library. He was also came highly recommended from Martin Fowler to be on the iFreak Show. So you can see here our hosts are experts in the field, and we get to share them every week. We've also had guests like Martin Fowler, Kent Beck, Yehuda Katz, Tom Dale, James Halliday, who's a Node developer, Steve Kloida on the Freelancer Show. He's the prospecting expert. CJ Hayden, who's the author of Get Clients Now, was also on the Freelancer Show. Saul Mora and Josh Abernathy, who are experts in iOS development, have been on the iFreak Show. We get to share all these things. The problem is that our websites currently don't look great. The other problem is that WordPress, which this is hosted on, doesn't exactly meet our needs. And I would like to be able to consolidate everything so that you can just look things up and find all of the shows related to a topic instead of having to go from website to do it. So here's the goal. I've had this design put together by a firm here local to me. They did a terrific job, and this is what the website will ultimately look like. Now, this isn't a working prototype right now. I have done some development on it, but I just don't have the time to get in and get it all together. So what I want to do is I want to put that together, and I want to do a full text search across all the shows. Now, this isn't just a search which we currently get in sort of the show notes or the first section of the page, which is what WordPress gives you on MySQL. Instead, what we're after is a search across the transcripts, the show notes, the hosts, the picks, and the title. And we've actually had a group of people set up a pick machine for Ruby Rogues, and I'd like to be able to move that in-house so that people can look over all of the recommendations and see how often they're recommended and by whom. We also would love to help new podcasters get started. There are several people that want to start shows that are committed to putting out top quality shows, just don't know how to do it, and I really don't have the time to sit down and help them manage a WordPress installation. So what I would like to do is bring them into the fold, bring them into the network, and help them get started by providing them the infrastructure, and all they have to do is do the recording. I'd like to put a calendar in so that you know when we're going to conferences, when our guests are going to conferences, when we're recording, and when we're releasing. And I think that would be something that a lot of people would be interested in. And finally, just put in a lot of ways for people to connect with our hosts and guests. So social media, for example, blogs, etc., and just make it easy for people to find stuff by these folks. So how can you help? Well, you can give to the campaign. You can get the word out over Twitter and Facebook. You can talk to your employer about making a contribution, and there are contribution levels for corporations. You can volunteer and help me migrate the shows and do other things that are related to moving off of WordPress and onto this platform. And if you're proficient in Ruby on Rails, you can also help me with the code. So finally, once again, I'd just like to thank you for contributing to the shows, for listening, for enjoying all of the terrific conversations we have, for supporting our hosts and our guests, and for just being terrific programmers. Thank you.